Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, everybody.
We are now live, and welcome to all our viewers. Welcome to all our viewers as we are building up the numbers. I see we are 10, we are 21. I'm waiting until we hit a decent number, then we get started. Welcome to all our viewers. The afternoon has come, it's 3:30. Appeal Communications, leading the leaders, coaching the coaches. We are with you. Very interesting afternoon. I've got a intimacy coach with me. 44, we're going, just about to get started. We are ready. 53, 67. Once we hit 100, we start. Sharon, are you ready?
I am ready, born ready.
Thank you. Can I take this opportunity?
Welcome to all our viewers. Appeal Communications,
both on YouTube, our YouTube channel, and also our Facebook Live, and also to all those who are with us on channel 260 on Thursday, which will now be our routine. Every Thursday at 9 o'clock, head to toe with Dr. Tebelele. Go along with us. Things will never be the same again. 98 was sort of 2, then we hit 100, then we get going. Thank you. We are now at 101. Sharon, can you greet our viewers?
Good afternoon, everyone. Sharon here. So nice to be with you.
Thank you very much. We've got Sharon from Pure Romance. She is what we call a Chief Excitement Officer. She is an intimacy coach, and she loves what she's doing. She works with the adult toys. Very passionate about it. Sharon, can you give us a preview of your company and yourself a little bit before we get to business?
Yes, I'd absolutely love you. I'd love to. Thanks so much for having me on the show. I've been with Pure Romance for about 7 years now, so I just got into the whole thing quite by accident. But I must be honest, absolutely love what I do, working with people, assisting them with their intimacy, coaching, sort of like educating women on how their bodies work. I also do what we call in-home parties. So those plasticware parties where you can actually come and have a look at a demonstration. So yes, I'm going to be talking about some intimacy products and toys with you today. So looking forward to spending the afternoon with you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Every time I speak with a coach, I always think that I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Appeal Communications, where we break myths and stereotypes. Sharon, there are times relationships and marriages hit a snag or hit what we call saturation. When a relationship is saturated and you are 101, toys 101. What can you do when a relationship has hit a snag as a relationship coach, as an intimacy CEO? I see you've got a lot of tools on the table which you are going to show us one by one. Why do we need some of these things in our lives?
Thank you so much for asking. What a fantastic question. And as you said, yes,
throughout our relationships, things kind of like get stale and we get into a rut as far as our intimacy goes. So that's when you would actually reach out and look for something to enhance your playtime and just to stimulate the relationship and kind of like bring good sex back into the bedroom. We have a range of products ranging from lotions and potions, and I call them bedroom accessories, or should I say bedroom essentials. And a good question, why would we actually use vibrators? That is something we're going to be talking about today, sort of like sex toys. Vibrators just add another element to your playtime. If you think about when you were younger, what did you play with? Your best friend, you had toys. So when you get older, your toys just change, wink, wink, okay? So I'm going to be discussing quite a few with you today, sort of like just how you would apply them, when you would use them, why you would use them. But yeah, basically, there's just a lot of factors that we're going to be looking at today as well. So there's toys that sort of like start quite reasonably priced, going right up to the luxury range, but we'll get into those as we go along. I'm also going to be sharing with you some of our, as I said, lotions and potions, just to sort of like stimulate, when the libido is gone, we're no longer in the mood, just some sort of like relationship aids and toys to bring into the bedroom. Nothing to be shy about or embarrassed. I think anyone that kind of like takes charge of what happens in the bedroom deserves to have fun. And yeah, as I was watching and saying earlier, if you're not having good sex, you should be. And if we can help you with that, that's definitely what our plan, our aim is.
I see you've got some cards. I don't know where to start. This table is full. Can you take us through the cards? What are the cards for in the bathroom?
Yes.
I mean, in the bedroom. Do people have time to?
I see you've got a lot of cards on the table. Is there time to play cards in the bedroom, or people should just get into business? What are the cards for? Can you take us through the cards?
Absolutely. I think, there's a lack of communication, I think, is, when people say to me, what caused a breakup or a divorce? Do you know what? At the end of the day, whether it's about money or intimacy or everything, lack of communication. And I think, if we can start talking in the bedroom, just mentioning to each other what we like, sort of like just bringing out different ideas in the bedroom. But it's incredibly difficult. I was saying to Dr. Tebelele earlier, I think with social conditioning and our cultures and the way we've been brought up, good girls and good boys don't talk about sex. Okay. Yeah. So, and I think there's a lot of shyness and embarrassment around our bodies, how they work. And, you kind of like just have been programmed not to ask for what you want for in the bedroom. And this is where half the problem is. Dr. Tebelele has just mentioned the cards that were on the table. Absolutely love these cards. These are one of my top sellers. They basically are a lot of they action cards. There's conversation cards. There's cards specifically for girls, for guys, and they go from mild to wild. I'm just going to read one or two examples for you. This one here would be, tell me, what do you think about talking during sex? So what that's going to do is going to open up a whole new angle of conversation. I'm going to turn right around quite slowly. It's going to open up a whole new conversation in the bedroom. Here's one that's action, okay? It's just silly little things like give your partner a 1 minute back scratch. Hopefully, after that 1 minute, things are going to carry on further down. And this also it sort of like just brings a new aspect to maybe a stale relationship if you've been in a relationship for quite a while, or if you're actually just starting a new relationship and you don't really know your partner. This is actually going to be a great way to actually bring back that communication and just to add some fun ideas. And I was just saying to Dr. Tebelele as well, it kind of like lets you off the hook as a decent or dentlicker person. It lets you off the hook because the card told you to do it. So you kind of like don't have to feel guilty about asking for something naughty in the bedroom. So those are the cards there.
So these cards are more. So these cards are more to assist with foreplay, so that to provoke the person or to play some sort of games as a warm-up.
Absolutely. So like just gets things, it just gives you some ideas. It just adds to the role play and the playtime in the bedroom. And then that can also just lead on. There's a whole deck of cards that actually lead on to a lot of things that actually include our products in the Pure Romance range. I just want to show you you spoke about massage earlier. Yes. We've got some fantastic toys, and I'm going to go, when we get to the toys as well, majority of the toys actually can be used to massage your partner's body. I'm just going to show you a couple of our products. We've got these massage gloves, and if you have a look at them carefully, you can actually see on this one side here, these nubbies here, they're very textured as well. So once these go on, you can actually give your partner a fantastic massage with a lot of sensation. And the whole idea is to actually sort of like stimulate the nerve endings on the body, which then just heightens the senses and sensations. So that's just one product that we have. Then we also have, sorry, I keep going. We also have a hot candle, and this is just very erotic as well. This is absolutely so essential. So if you want to you basically warm this up and then you actually pour this warm, almost like an oil, and it's like the sensation of wax. Please don't put wax on your partner, that hurts. So this one would be a soya massage candle, heats up to about 47 degrees, and then you can actually massage either with your hands or with the gloves. And then also we have another massage oil. This one is infused with a product that we call Hello Libido, and it basically just it's an aphrodisiac oil. So when you are massaging your partner, the sense of smell is sort of like it is stimulating the pineal gland, which will then
Can you hold it there, Sharon? You say this massage oil is more like an aphrodisiac. It means it encourages intimacy.
Yes, absolutely. So it's actually fractionated coconut oil with essential oils in it. So we used to call that essential oil bang bang. So it's now called Hello Libido, but that basically just stimulates and kind of like increases libido. Which is just talking about libido before we carry on. Libido is sort of like we live in a low libido society. We're stressed out at work. We're overworked. I mean, there's just a lot. And so our libidos, and that's basically your sex drive, is incredibly affected by our lifestyles. So we're not making enough time for play in the bedroom. We just don't feel like it. So at the end of the day, it's just very important to actually make time with your partner, bring out some of the toys. Why not? It's just going to assist it, to assist you in having more fun with your partner.
That's very great, Sharon. I see.
This thing of unmuting and muting can actually disturb even the foreplay. I hope I'm not making too much of an echo. You've taken us through the foreplay using the cards and so on. It means people, once they get into bedroom, and they shouldn't rush into the game and so on. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done. That is intimacy. A lot of relationships are dying, Sharon. They are dying out of lack of sex. And even when sex happens, we find that it's very difficult for women to reach orgasm. And I see on the table, we've got quite a few tools. Adult 101, the Toys 101. There's one that I'm particularly interested in that I'm looking at. I'm going to show it to the viewers. I mean, why should we carry such big stuff or things to the bedroom? What is this for? Can you take us through this as I'm holding? I'm sure the viewers will see this is one of the tools that Sharon is bringing, and it is well shaped and purple and so on. This is one of the aromas or the things that she's carrying on the table. I'm very privileged today because I see all of them. Can you take us through this? Why would someone need something like this? Is it not scary to bring to the bedroom?
Well, definitely not. Okay, when you start having, yes, I suppose something like that, if you've never experienced a toy before, and yeah, it probably wouldn't be the first one that you start with. Okay, I'm going to actually just show you a couple of smaller little toys here. If you could maybe just hold these up here, show the viewers. Okay, so we were talking about Sex Toy 101. I'm just going to give you some tips on where do you start? How do you actually start when you sort of like never seen it before, you're curious about sort of like trying out a vibrator, bringing some fun and play into your bedroom. Where do you start? I mean, I don't know if you know, but there are just hundreds of different toys out there. So I'm going to give you some guidelines and some choices that you can make. I just want to mention that with Pure Romance, there are consultants all over the country. And I would definitely recommend that you get in touch with someone who can actually coach you and sort of give you advice on the correct tools for you. Because, I mean, there's a lot of factors that you take into consideration when you are purchasing a toy. This one would be cost. Okay, so budget is always, I think, on top of everyone's mind. And then there's going to be the aspect of, do you like what you're looking at? Is it pretty? Is this what you want? And then there's also the other factors that you've got to look at, the battery operated toys and then the USB operated toys. What Dr. Tebeleli is holding up there right now, that one is your classic rabbit vibrator. Very interesting story. It actually, it got its name because it was actually illegal to make sex toys in China many years ago. So to get around the legislation, they actually made it look like a rabbit. So that one doesn't specifically look like a rabbit, but that's your classic rabbit vibrator. It's got a shaft that little watching a tongue at the top, just turn it around, yes, which actually would be for clitoral stimulation. That's one of the big guns. That's for someone who wants the full experience. So you'd have a blended orgasm with that. Okay, so just going back to what Dr. Tebelele says as well, between 85 and 95% of women physically cannot achieve an orgasm with penile penetration alone or vaginal penetration alone. They need direct clitoral stimulation, and that's pretty much where half the problem is. So yeah, without knowing this, I mean, there's no penis that I know of that has got a little tickler on top for the clitoris. So that's where your toys would come in. What Dr. Tebelele is holding up now is what we call a wand vibrator. Absolutely fantastic little toy. Can I switch it on for you? Let me just maybe, so that you can actually scroll through it. So it's kind of like, this one in particular has got 30 speeds. One for every day of the month, so you can't get bored with that one. And then it also just goes from intensity levels, so from high to low, and then it's got pulsating settings, where if it's maybe just too intense for you, so you can actually slow down with it. So that is also a toy that can be used externally on the nipples, on the clitoris. That one in particular can also be inserted in the G-spot. So if you have a look at the shape of it, it's got like an S shape that targets the G-spot, which, let me just tell you now, is about 2 inches up in the front of the vaginal wall, and it's like a spongy feeling, and it's very rich with nerve endings in that area. So any toy that is curved, just another one that I just want to show you, any toy that is curved with like an S shape would actually then fit snugly into the G-spot and then stimulate it from there, so you have an internal orgasm. Dr. T is holding up one now, so if you can maybe just angle it, you can actually see the shape of it. It kind of like has that S shape. Other way, yes, perfect. So that's how that one would. This one is one of our new toys. Absolutely very exciting. A lot of good feedback that we're having about that. So it would be an internal toy hitting the G-spot, and then this outer section over here is where that would be sitting on the clitoris and the vulva area as well. So that is definitely one of the new little winners. I just want to show you another, these, if you could hold up these. Okay. There's also, with regards to toys, you can actually have a couple of states. So a lot of toys can be used either solo on your own, where you actually learn to explore your body, or if you actually get a partner involved, there's a lot of fun that they can have. So, if you watching them would want to turn your partner with penis into a plaything, or should I say a living, breathing vibrator, that then Dr. T is holding up a C-ring. I just wanted, you've got another one there. Where are they? You got all the C-rings? No, they're a purple one. There's a purple one there, and that's a blue one. Yes. So those are all the same thing. So the first ring or the middle ring would actually fit onto an erect penis, and then the second ring would actually fit around the testicles, which what's going to happen there is on an erect penis, this is not going to allow any blood flow back into the body. So it's actually going to maintain the erection for much longer, which then is going to help the woman probably have an orgasm much quicker. Also, the blue one that Dr. T is holding up actually fits in with the bullet. It's this little set over here. Okay, actually fits in there, and it basically, it's around the penis and then would actually fit on the clitoris. So while the penetration is taken, that little button is actually going to be stimulating the clitoris, and there's also going to be a slight amount of vibration on the penis for the internal play. So that one there also is a lovely little toy. It's a typical bullet or your egg. It can be used either with a C-ring, which those watching that ring that was just held up, or for solo play. Okay, and then that's actually one of our USB rechargeable toys. That's another thing when you're actually looking at buying a toy. Do you want to go with something that's battery operated? The toys are probably going to be slightly more affordable, okay, but you've got the battery issue, and batteries actually have become quite expensive. So in the long run, you're probably going to end up paying a lot more. And then also, if you leave the batteries in the compartment, they could oxidize and rust from all the moisture in the air. Whereas the USB or the rechargeable ones are probably a much more powerful toy, going to last longer, and probably just be a more pleasurable experience for you. Okay.
Sharon, I've just pressed this thing on. I see it's vibrating a lot on my hand. What does the vibration do to a woman?
Okay, well, the vibration. If you think about a gym, if you go to a gym and you climb onto the pressure, the vibrating plate, what it does is actually stimulates the blood flow, and it just gets oxygen rushing through to the entire body. It's exactly what a vibrator does. So on that area, it actually stimulates blood flow. It gets things really, basically just things excited, and the feeling on the pelvic floor and on the erogenous zones basically just stimulates. Basically, what a vibrator does, it increases and enhances stimulation to a focused area. So wherever you're putting, whether it's on the nipples, on the vulva, internally, or on the G spot. So that is why a vibrator. Let me just tell you a little bit of a history. It was actually a medical device in the 1800s and was used to treat what they call hysteria, a horrible condition. I think it was a catch-all phrase. And then in the 1900s, they actually just discovered that by bringing a woman to orgasm, that they cured this hysteria. And then in the 1900s, they were actually just became smaller and smaller and were made portable. And over the years, the toys have just become more beautiful and more exciting. But at one stage, I must be honest, the porn industry kind of like dominated the sex toy industry. So all our aunts and grandmothers threw all their vibrators away. You should actually buy them in a chemist. And then in about 1980s, with AIDS, the AIDS pandemic, the Surgeon General in America actually came out with a list of safe sex, and the vibrator made it back on there again. And since then, the vibrator is just becoming more unique, luxury, and sophisticated. And so if you actually go, especially if you go online, you'll actually see quite an array of toys.
Thank you so much. I'm looking at these things very, very curiously and with interest as a science student and as someone who speaks to a lot of couples. And I know relationships hit a lot of snag and saturations, and marriages can actually get tired. And then people need to explore some of these things. Noting that a lot of women are struggling to get orgasm, and you mentioned correctly that it's very difficult for a woman to reach orgasm based on the penis alone. You need to get some of these things to make sure that at least that 40% who sparingly reach orgasm, we make sure that they reach. It's an effort, and it needs a man who understands, and it needs a man who's actually educated in terms of intimacy, and a lot of men tend to be very physical when it comes to issues of sex, and a lot of marriages are collapsing over the core business that is not taken care of. I like the fact that you approach intimacy from the head, then to the body, and when everything else is not working well, then you've got aromat or some things to use which we are not open-minded about them. And it's good that we are showing sometimes we hear these things on radio and we see them in magazines, and at a distance it's very difficult for them to reach us, and we've given us ways of getting through them and how to use them. Sometimes we can go and buy these things. A lot of us, especially in the Black community, some people are scared of dildo. Can you give me that dildo?
Okay, so do you know
dildos are usually quite big and scary to some of the men, and they would think that we're gonna be left behind. Can you, as I hold it up?
Okay, I just want to tell you just quickly, a lot of people use the terminology incorrectly. Okay, so a dildo would be anything that doesn't vibrate. Okay, if it vibrates, doesn't matter what shape or size it is, it's a vibrator. Dr. T is holding up a dildo at the moment, and that's actually made out of like a jelly, a type of silicone. It's very lifelike feeling as well. Okay, that one does, which has a suction cup as well. So you know what, that would be for someone who wants to feel the fullness. It can actually be used for anal play as well. So that is quite an interesting. That is probably, I would actually go as far as saying that's the grandfather or the godfather of all the toys. Okay, but yes, it is quite intimidating, and not all of them are that big. Some of them are actually quite thin and finger sized as well. But if it doesn't vibrate, basically that is a dildo. If it vibrates, it's a vibrator. Just to touch on what you said earlier about it, I think that's just one of the common misconceptions about toys is that, oh, my partner, she's going to become addicted to a vibrator, or I'm going to be replaced. What's wrong with my package? What's wrong with me? Absolutely nothing. A vibrator is going to add to your playtime and to your pleasure, stimulating and enhancing your lovemaking. I just want to compare it to, let's say, a carpenter. You know, a carpenter's got power tools, all right? And the power tools don't replace the carpenter. It just speeds up his job for him. So yes, he can do whatever he's going to do manually, but when he uses the power tool, it just makes the job so much quicker. And that's pretty much what a vibrator does as well. It just speeds up the thing. With a lot of women that are unable to have orgasms, or it just takes so long. Watching foreplay starts up in your brain, and it just, it physically, men become fully aroused within 3 to 10 seconds, whereas the average woman takes between 15 and 45 minutes to become fully aroused. That's a long, long time. So when you add vibration,
can I hold you on there, Sharon? I think we need to move very slowly on this one. You say it takes about 15 minutes to 45 minutes for a woman to be aroused.
On average, that's
I like to watch, when I do a demonstration and I'm talking to the ladies, I actually like to say that men are pretty much like microwave ovens. They are ready in 10 seconds. They do not, physically, the way they're designed, do not need foreplay. All right. Whereas women are just designed differently. I would say a lot of her foreplay actually starts taking place in her brain. This is probably her biggest sex organ. Okay. So don't, when that little kiss on her ear when you walk out in the morning, that's where the foreplay starts. The little sexy messages on the phone. So throughout the day, you can watch an image, be sending her sexy little message. It's part of the foreplay. However, when you get to the actual thing, the average woman, look, there are women that obviously, become aroused much quicker, but on average, between 15 and 45 minutes is needed to have her fully aroused. And the problem is, if she's not fully aroused, okay, there could be damage that takes place. You could end up with micro tearing, and then later on in life, she's really going to have a lot of problems. So we're not going to touch too much on lubricants and that kind of thing now, but we do need to watch an image to have a woman sort of like lubricated and ready. There's a thing called tenting. I just want to tell you about it. It's called vaginal tenting. Okay, so when she becomes aroused, the vagina actually stretches, which then allows for any penetration, whether it's a finger, a penis, a toy. We hope the list ends there. Okay, but basically, we need to actually get her aroused, because otherwise you are going to do damage. All right, and I just want to bring out 2 little products. I know they're not necessarily toys, but these are 2 of my top selling toys. I'm just going to speak about this one. It's called O, and it's actually an enhancement cream. Is the triplex tingle is the active ingredient, and it's patented to Pure Romance. This is a tiny little mount, okay, which then goes directly onto the genitals, okay, but like a pea size. And then what it does is actually stimulates the blood flow. Remember, I was talking about the blood flow earlier? It's all about the blood. So when the blood is rushing to an area, that's where the swelling takes place, and the engorging, and that's where the sensitivity then sort of like is what it's all about. So, people often say to me, oh, we're at 10 o'clock at night, who's got 45 minutes for foreplay? And that's where you're actually going to bring in, I call it instant libido, or libido in a bottle. Definitely get yourself a bottle of this if you are battling, especially if you're on antidepressants as well. This would definitely just give the feeling and the tingling sensation down there. And then just going back to watching with the replacing. As far as the vibrator goes, there is no vibrator that is going to turn around and nibble your ear, or massage you, or give you a hug, or tell you how much it loves you. Okay, so there is absolutely no way a man or a partner can be replaced by a vibrator. Yes, she might end up loving her vibrator, and so she should, but she'll never, ever replace you or become addicted to it.
There's a legal question I would like you to address. There's a man who's raising a concern on the comments that looking at the dildo, you say a dildo is a non-vibrating vibrator. Yeah, once it vibrates, it becomes a vibrator. But if it's not vibrating, then it's called a dildo. The dildo looks so intimidating and big, and I'm one person who's pushing a concept of 5 centimeters because men are so obsessed with the issue of penis size. And then when you look at this dildo, it looks so big and threatening. Is it not going to affect the relationship, or is it not gonna take over and make me useless as a man once there's a vibrator in the house? What is your take on that?
I hear your concern,
and that I must be honest, it's something that a lot of men in particular are concerned about. You know what? There's no right choice of vibrators. So I think once you understand sort of like what a vibrator is going to do to your relationship, it doesn't mean that you need to go out and buy the biggest, baddest vibrator. If it's something that you want to bring in to your bedroom, I mean, would you mind just holding this one up there? Have a look at the size of that one. Okay, hardly intimidating at all. It's the size of a finger. Okay, and as I said, I mean, I've just got a small display here. Maybe you actually just hold this one up as well. Okay, sorry, I'm just passing them on here. Have a look at that tiny little vibrator. It literally fits onto the finger. So, just to address your concern, if that is an issue for you, you don't have to go out and get the biggest, baddest vibrator or dildo out there. So speak to your partner, see what, and just going back to the whole finding the right person that you can actually speak to, who can advise you. Also, I have got a whole kit here of toys. So when I do couples consultations or individual consultations, my clients actually get to see and hold the toys in front of me, so they can actually decide, which one really sort of like holds the greatest appeal. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, you really shouldn't be intimidated. But I think in order to bring playtime into your bedroom, you should maybe just consider starting with the small one. Even that bullet vibrator, that was a great way to start, because there's no penetration. It's completely external. So there can be nipple play, vulva play, clitoral play. So it definitely is not going to be something that's going to replace your penis, for example. So I hope that answers your question. Sorry.
Yes, it answers me. And then just to take you on one of the reasons some people start using some of these things, there are people who get diagnosed with HIV, and then they start looking at alternatives. They don't want to be associated with the penis anymore. How safe is a vibrator in terms of using it with somebody else? Or how safe is it to use it repeatedly on yourself in terms of HIV transmission?
I'm very strict. There's a product, it's called, it's actually our cleansing mist, and it's a toy cleaner. It's antifungal and antibacterial. I just feel that if it's such a personal toy, it goes into a very private area, which is pH balanced. So anything that goes in there, whether it's anything that gets inserted, would disrupt a pH balance. As far as cleaning your toys, I think that's critical. I think that's just a no-brainer. You have to clean it, disinfect it. I've actually got a strict thing. When someone buys a toy from me, I absolutely insist that they take one of the cleaners as well. So just going with that, how safe are they? Absolutely safe. Just please keep your toy clean. And then, a lot of people sort of like, they come up with UTIs, UTIs and infections and STDs. Yes, of course, they transmissible if you're going to be using it between two partners. So either each have your own toy, but to actually transmit, to use them between, of course, if the one's got HIV or STI, you definitely will be picking it up. So you need to use your own sense on that. And then also a toy, don't use it from back to front, because that would also introduce bacteria and things that are going to unsettle your pH balance. So they're very safe for as long as you are clean with them. So it's a no-brainer. It's basically just a no-brainer on that one.
Perfect. There's an issue that is actually bugging us, something called anal sex, especially in the field of sexual health and sexology. Have you got any things that have got to do with the anal sex amongst your adult toys?
Up to for me, please. All right. So this is a very taboo topic, and I know a lot of people are like, "Oh my gosh, not going to try that." I just want to let you know that there's your anal opening and the prostate gland are rich with nerve endings. So there is quite a lot of pleasure there. A lot of people actually experience heightened sensations when there's play with the anal thing. There's three things that I'm just going to mention as far as anal play goes. The first one's communication. No one wants any surprise. Okay, so just please speak to your partner about it. The second one is relaxation. Okay, you need to be relaxed about it. So if you tense and just really don't want to do it, then you probably could end up hurting yourself or hurting your partner. We do have a product called Booty Ease that will actually just relax the anal opening. And then the third one is lubrication, but I'm talking about lots and lots and lots of lubrication. They're very unlike the vagina, which lubricates itself. The anus definitely doesn't, thank goodness. Okay, so, and then with regards to toys, okay, there's it's something that you just have to bear in mind. The anal or the rectum actually has a sphincter muscle that will pull things up. So if you're putting anything up the anus that doesn't belong up there or designed for it, you could end up with a seriously tricky situation. And I'm sure Dr. Tebelele could tell you that there's a point of no return. So I would recommend strongly that you do not insert anything that is not designed for it. Dr. Tebelele, could you hold up those beads for me, please? Yes. Okay, so have a look at this one. This one is actually quite an interesting one because it actually is great for beginners who maybe want to explore with it. So if you have a look at the size of the beads on it, they graduate. So they're smaller, and so they increase in size. And if you turn the bottom, Dr. Tebelele, like this, you just turn it, you can actually switch it on. So those are vibrating, the cap there. Just turn it, yes. Okay, so it'll actually start vibrating. And then that's exactly what you're doing now. That piece of string is not there for show. That is actually would go around the wrist, okay, so that when there is playtime, okay, it wouldn't actually be sucked up. So it would actually be held. So there's a safety factor on that. So yeah, nothing would end up in the point of no return where you end up in the ER room. And then I just want to, this is a toy that I just want to show you the example on that one. A toy should also be designed in such a way that it cannot go up. So if you have a look at that one, although that one's not an anal toy, if you have a look at that flange on there, so most anal toys would actually have that flange around there, which would then prevent it from being pulled up into the anus. So from a safety point of view, you just make sure that you are using the correct tools in there. It's not just anything that can go up. Okay.
Thank you very much, Sharon.
And then
That's
It's a mouthful.
This one.
And
one thing, into endifuna uyigxininisa ke, the problem with the anus is not meant for sex as such. And if you look at the HIV as an HIV clinician, anus cracks easily. Anus cracks easily and is 25 times highly likely to transmit HIV than any other form of vaginal sex or penile sex or whatever. So it means anus needs preparation. That is what Sharon has also emphasized. Be it you are going to penetrate with penis or with a toy or whatever, but the anus needs lubrication. It needs lots of preparation. And you must also know that you need to use a condom and lots of lubrication to prevent spread of HIV and other STIs. Thank you very much. Is there any other toy we're missing from the table?
I'd like you to hold both of them. That's this one as well.
Okay, just want to switch it on for you. Okay, these are very exciting new additions to our range. I don't know why this is not coming on. Just hold on. There we go. Right, it's on. And you can actually switch that one as well. These here have made quite a lot of inroads. They're very, very exciting. This is a very interesting and very playful dimension or added onto your playtime. These are panty vibrators. They're remote controlled. So I'm actually going to, can you feel that? Okay, look at his smile. So that would actually, they are remote control and they work up to about 15 meters away from the toy. So you could have quite a lot of fun with this. So just while you're wearing it, you can actually hand the remote to your partner and let them have their way with you. Obviously, it's a serious trust issue. You're going to have to really trust your partner. You could actually go and go out to the beach, go on a picnic. I'm actually just going to turn them. I wouldn't trust my partner in a pub or anything like that. Definitely not. But you watching him, it could, if you need to go and do the dishes, give him the remote, and off you go and have fun washing the dishes. So the one in particular, the purple one, okay, would actually clip over the panties. It's got 2 little wings and a magnet, and then the pink one is actually designed and targeted for the G spot. Okay, so that would actually enter, but that is an internal toy. And then the butterfly wings and these 2 little antennas actually sit and watching them would go over the vulva area, tickling that. So also remote controlled, 15 meters away. So yeah, just a lot of fun that these bring in to relationships and intimacy.
I
hope people see how difficult it is to organize an orgasm, and it's even becoming more difficult these days. But with all this, there's a remote. This one is vibrating nicely on my hand. It's still vibrating. Can you switch it off? Huh? You can even adjust the way it vibrates, the speed, the frequency, and so on. Oh, this is very good. This one is remote controlled. You can control how many times it vibrates, and the intensity of the vibration is remote controlled. That is the remote. That is the remote I'm using, and this is the actual
unit. The actual unit, the panty that fits into the panty.
Let me switch it off.
And that definitely, just to answer the guest, sorry, Sharon, let me switch it off. To answer the guest who was a little bit concerned about
replacing a man, that would actually be a lovely toy because there's no threat. So it's just a fun little thing that gets added onto the panty, and you still in control of her pleasure, what's happening, and it just really is cheeky and naughty. It's almost like it's almost wicked. So yeah, it's definitely not going to threaten any man's size. So that would be a perfect toy for you to experiment with. If you're a bit more concerned about the size, of the godfather of toys. And then I just want to show you this one.
Someone is asking, Sharon, is it has it got a rechargeable battery or you recharge it?
Okay, so thank you so much for asking. Sure, I think we're just talking so much. We kind of like, would you mind opening just pass me this, the blue one, the blue one, or yes, okay. So if you have a look there's your batteries. There we go. And then, sorry, I'm just passing these on. I just want to show you the Lamborghini of toys as well. All right, so that's your battery-operated toys. As I said, I always say to my clients when they purchase a battery-operated toy to actually use good batteries like Everready or Duracell. They just last longer. But yeah, I watch them. I've especially with myself, sometimes I get back from parties and I just don't bother taking the batteries out of the toys. And I've really thrown quite a few toys away because of the oxidization, the batteries that leak, and you literally have to throw them away. So that's the risk that you run there. But luckily, people are kind of like really going, I'm actually just taking off this wire. Most of our toys now are actually USB rechargeable. All right, and they're absolutely fantastic. I wonder if you could hold up that one there, Doctor. That's there. Dr. Tebelele is holding up one now. That I would go as far as saying is our Lamborghini of toys. It's a USB rechargeable. Charges for about an hour. So it plugs into the toy on this side and then just straight into your cell phone charger. I just want to switch that on for you quickly. Can I and then there we go. And then you can scroll through them. There we go. And then you'll see. The one that Dr. Tebelele is holding up now is actually quite a coveted one. Every woman wants it. It has 2 motors, and that would also affect the cost. That one is 24 karat gold plated. It was designed by a gynecologist for Pure Romance. Just the shape of the thing. There's a motor that runs or operates the clitoral vibrator, and there's another motor that operates the shaft. If you maybe just want to scroll up with them, Dr. Tebelele, and you can actually see yes, there you go. Can you see how fast that's going? There you go, just with those things. That thing's got 20 speeds, but it also does come with quite a price tag. That is a USB rechargeable toy. You're probably going to charge for about an hour. It's going to take to charge. And then you're probably going to get about 3 to 4 hours of solid play out of that, which you won't. Obviously, you won't play for 3, 4 solid hours. The only problem is with the rechargeable toys, you probably should have a battery backup in your drawer, because with Eskom and the load shedding, we're not going to be able to charge your USB toys. So maybe have your USB toy and there's as well as a battery backup. Probably not a bad idea. And then I just want to also just tell you about this one here. Okay, thank you. So yeah, just if you come to one of the parties, you can actually see these toys in action, or they'll get passed around. You can actually feel them, and you just sort of like to see the material. This one also, I'm just going to hold this one up. This is actually making great in waves. This is a ball, if you see the sphere, and there's been a lot of research into vibratherapy. So I'm going completely off the sexual health topic now, but this thing here could actually help with headaches, muscular pains, fibromyalgia, if you've got plantar fasciitis, a whole lot of ailments, arthritis. And then I also just say, if it happens to slip under the sheets, just enjoy, you know what it is. So if you want to have a look at the strength of that one, it is quite powerful as well. And then also, just on closing, I just want to mention to you as well, you've seen quite a few toys now with different materials. That would also be one of the factors that you would look at when you are purchasing a toy. Some toys are, especially I'd say the more affordable ones, are actually made from quite a hard plastic. If you're into hard, that's fine. And then your mid-range toys would probably be a softer, more flexible material. And then the high-end toys are generally made out of medical-grade silicone, which I recommend. If you are going to choose a toy, my suggested material would be silicone, because it's actually smoother, it's easier to clean, and it warms to the body, and it's actually just got a very silky, velvety feel. So that definitely would be my recommendation, is one of the silicone toys. I see you enjoying that, Dr. Tebbing. We've lost him. Yeah, absolutely amazing. So that definitely, it's actually very much like the lacrosse ball, but it vibrates. Fantastic tool. Okay. And then we're just watching them. There's also just, if we want to get, I just want to bring these out and just show, we haven't spoken about these yet. If you want to get a little bit naughty, if you want to try a little bit of BDSM and a little bit of blindfolding, I always just say, if you haven't got a blindfold, go and get one, or use a scarf or something. But honestly, the blindfold would actually take away your sense of sight. I know it's actually featured a lot in the watching of 50 Shades of Grey, but it definitely takes away your sensations. It takes away your sight, and it heightens the sensations, your other sensations in the body. These here, I've got little ticklers. I absolutely love this little one. It's very, very popular. It's almost like a reward, a punishment and reward. So these little, what you name it, ticklers on the other side, they're just little silicone strands, okay, and then a reward system. So just like a little tickler. And if you tie your partner up, you can really have your way with them. Can I pass that to you so you can have a look at it? And then obviously, if you want to get a little bit more, what you know, a bit more hardcore, we have this whip. There we go. That's a little bit more watching it, but it really doesn't hit hard. Actually, just give yourself a little smack there, and you bad boy, bad girl. Okay. So that is also, we've got we've got a lot more products that I haven't even shown here. But if you are interested in finding out a little bit more, or making contact with a consultant that can possibly sit down with you and assist you on which is the best option, you are more than welcome to just drop your details down below, and then Dr. Tebelele can actually send you my details, and then I will put you in touch with a consultant somewhere in South Africa. Playtime.
That's a
mouthful, Sharon.
You've taken us through a completely new syllabus in some of our people's life. When I look at this
When I look at this box and everything, I think about sadism and sadomasochism. Why do people put on handcuffs and so on? There's a lot of stuff that is happening.
Shambox
and handcuffs and blindfolds and so on.
That's what I've just said to you now. Look, it's other, some people kind of like really take it far. This is very entry level. So it's kind of like touching on the naughty, the BDSM. It's all about control and submission. So yeah, you kind of like just really, it's going to be something, it boils down to trust at the end of the day. And it is just something that really can bring a lot. We were talking about the boredom in the bedroom, trying something new. Look, it's either going to be for you, it isn't. And if you don't try it, you're not going to know. So as I mentioned earlier, when you tie or when you put a blindfold on, it's taking away that sense. Okay. If you handcuff someone or tie them to the bed, you're taking away control. So they're left to your mercy. So it's definitely just going back to the trust thing. It's not to hurt anyone. It's not about that. It's about trust and giving in to your partner having their way, and them obviously taking responsibility for giving you pleasure, but it's making you helpless. So you just have to take whatever they're going to give. And the more senses are taken away, the more other senses are heightened. So, if your sense of sight is taken away, your sense of touch is taken away, your sense of hearing is taken away. Okay, what is left? Except when you're lying there and you just don't know what's going to happen next, your body is just waiting, and it's kind of like really going to react to whatever. And so that is why. And we passed around these whips. It's not really a shambok. This is actually very soft silicone, so it honestly doesn't hurt. It's a sweet little sting. It's definitely not to inflict pain. It's just a sharp, sweet little sting to stimulate the nerve endings on the skin. Okay.
Thank you very much,
Sharon. Thank you very much. That's a handful, and I'm sure our viewers are getting all the first-hand information. Now, just to sum up, why would Appeal Communications come up with such a topic and exposure to so much stuff? There are people who get accidents or who get ill and injured, and there are people who get operations. Some people get cancer and so on, which may affect your private organs. Impembe sometimes nochaphazeleka through ulimala, operations prostate, ingozi zemoto, then ufumanisa uba iqabane lakho mhlawumbi alisakwazi usebenzisa impembe okanye umama ekhaya akasakwazi usebenzisa igusheshe, but ayithethi ukuthi loo nto leyo ubomi buyaphela kulaa ndawo. Mhlawumbi nisebancinci yenzeke le nto, kusafuneka into yoba ifulfiliwe i-need, iqatyeliswe into yoba sex is still a need. Then ezinye zezinto, they can come in and supplement that deficiency. Okanye aphulekisha khona kuloo ndawo engasebenziyo, akuthethi ukuthi xa impembe yakho ingasebenzi then kuphelile, impembe ikhalile. There are also other alternatives. Then mhlambe ebomini uzibone sohamba wheelchair, ubomi awusozubazi. In case that happens, there are other alternatives. Okanye umtshato or relationship has reached saturation, then ubone into yoba andide ndifikelele kuvuthondaba, then make sitraye into ethile. Kukhona i-clitoral vibrators, kukhona i-dildo, kukhona i-vibrators, kukhona into zomasaja and so on. Uyazi into yoba kunideka i-preparation, kunideka i-aromas ezithile zokuzama into yoba i-bond isoloko ishushu, ingarechi i-saturation. That is the essence. So we've seen all the ranges. Sharon is available for consultancy for couples and everyone else to make sure that even on the area of intimacy, we've got coaches. We've got someone who can coach you to take you to some of these things. And some of these things are rechargeable. They've got batteries, some are rechargeable. And the prices are different depending on what you want and so on. I know some of these tools can be intimidating when you see them from a distance, but you choose a size that is comfortable between you and your partner. There are short ones which fit in the category of that 5 centimeters. But what is important and what I like is that Sharon touched on the area of G-spot. G-spot is within 1 to 1.5 centimeters on the anterior vaginal wall, which means it is easily reachable with 1.5 centimeters. That is why it is even easy to make a woman come even with a finger. There's someone who's asking about the use of tongue. Don't you get diseases or anything else if you on the use of tongue? We encourage people to use all the senses. all the senses, taste, smell, hearing, communication, and so on, to make sure that you are all in it. It's not only reliant on the penis, but it needs the whole of you. These are just some of the tools and supplements to make your marriage everlasting, to make your relationship ever exciting. You've got everything within you, but where you lack, there's something else that you can do to make sure that you keep the spark going. On behalf of Apile Communications, we are just about to close the session. Please make sure that you follow us on our YouTube channel, Apile Communications on YouTube. Please click on subscribe. Subscribe so that you follow us every time we load a video. You are made aware. It doesn't chow your money, but you can always be informed on the relevant issues. We're dealing with myths, we're dealing with stereotypes, we are leading the leaders and coaching the coaches. That is Apile Communications. Always also, don't forget to catch us on MPK TV, that is Mpuma Kapa TV, channel 260. That is DSTV, channel 260, every Thursday on Head to Toe with Dr. Tebelele. As you know, we're always available on Umhlobo Wenene every Wednesday, 11:15, through FM every Tuesday at 10:10. That is Apile Communications. We are leading the way that is never done before, and on areas that we know they are uncomfortable, but they are much of a need, because we're talking about real life. Sharon, can you bid goodbye to our viewers? Thank you for the nice session, and thank you for your eloquence, and thank you for your time and your display and the knowledge that we've actually imparted to the whole of the people that are watching. This will go too far. Your goodbyes to our viewers.
Thank you so much once again for having me on the show. Sure,
I know there was a lot to cover. I hope I helped some of you sort of just overcome this whole taboo topic. And honestly, if you want to get hold of me to discuss anything, ask for advice, with the greatest of pleasure. I will actually email you our complete catalog. And yeah, there's absolutely nothing to be scared of. You deserve this. You should be owning your sexuality. It's your responsibility to make sure that you are having satisfactory and fulfilled life, what you name it, sexual health. So get hold of Dr. Tebelele, put your numbers down, and I'll definitely see you through the week. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Sharon. And if anyone has got questions or further comments, make sure that you do that on our YouTube channel. We will take care of your questions, and as we go along. YouTube channel, Apile Communications. Thank you very much for now. Thank you for listening, and thank you for the empowerment that it will not only end up with you, but you get knowledge in order to empower the next person. May your relationship never be the same again. God bless you. Thank you so much.